Welcome to the After the Ball Show. Here is your host, Sam, your bro. Today's a gift we all can feel. The wounds are raw, but time will heal. Be thankful now for where you stand, and hold the world in grateful hands. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Recovery burns a steady flame. Grateful hearts call out your name. A brotherhood that no one sees, a sisterhood of inner peace. The past no longer holds our eyes. We're reaching up into the skies. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Recovery burns a steady flame. Grateful hearts call out your name. The chains we wore are now no more. The keys we found unlock the door. Through every scar a story blooms, right here in these live chat rooms. After the bars, we're rising strong, right here where we belong. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Race, nor religion, or political affiliation, we all love each other as one.
Hey guys, welcome to After the Bars. I am Sam. That's me. I just wanted to talk a little about this Joe Rogan thing. He did an interview, and we're going to watch a little bit of that interview. And I just realized, we're really standing at the edge of something ancient and something electric at the same time. Behind me are angels that guard the gates, not of heaven, but of humanity's soul, because what we're facing isn't just code or circuitry. It's a new kind of deity. Artificial intelligence is rising, not as a tool, but as a force. And some say it's already being worshipped. But here's the question. When machines start making moral decisions, who's really in control? This show isn't here to comfort you today. It's here to confront you, to ask what happens when divine light meets digital power. Welcome to After the Bars. I am Sam, and I will be right back. I'll start to respond.
Good morning to the chaos we ride.
So when I get texts, my own ideas,
Wake up, Sam, he's reborn again. One step forward from where he's been. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam, we've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the winds still blow. This is morning mayhem. Welcome
Grand rising indeed, young James Collins Cares. How are you today? Welcome to the show, everybody. Just a nice, mellow show. The past couple of days, or maybe even week, there's just been a lot of there's so much going on, like with Tim Pool and Candace and Ian Carroll and his beef with Nick Fuentes. I mean, in a sense, in a sense, like it's good for Ian. Good for Ian to get into it. Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has a bigger platform than Ian, and this is giving him some clout, even though he's opposing him. But it still gets his name out there to more people. And Ian Carroll, I think, it is is an amazing guy. He's always, and he was a fan of Nick Fuentes, and he was and he's still like trying to give Nick a bone, like even now, whenever he like refutes any of Nick's things, he's like he's still just trying to be nice and be like, look, bro, like I really like you. I don't like all of your views, but like, I can't believe this is where you stand on the Candace situation. And then of course Tim Pool and Candace, Tim Pool is completely crashed out. But I'm guessing that it's probably a lot more to it. I think Tim Pool's company is probably struggling financially. I am going to do a show on that here probably tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do a live show on it. I might just do a pre-record, with like out the teleprompter and a script and things like that. Just do one of my regular shows and to talk about his apparently his compound getting shot at and some other things. And he's done something similar in the past. So now it seems like maybe he's just making all that up. But the milieu is totally ripe for people to say, especially people who do get, threats of death and assassination, to, make up stories and to say like, look, this just happened to me. So, I don't know. It's the crazy and enigmatic world of YouTube. And then, of course, yesterday or the day before, we had the thing with Patriotic Housewife, who's a brand new creator, and Baron Coleman, who I've always liked a lot. Even though I was kind of did a confrontational show, asking him, or, just laying out some facts of some things of his past. And he kind of ignored it. He answered it with a lie. I truly believe that. I think Baron Coleman lied. But you know what? I'm not the YouTube police, as I've stated before. I'm just just curious, like he's curious. Like everything in the newspapers and all the documentation from court documents all say that you were a confidential informant. For the not the feds per se, but a state fed, basically. But anyways, you know what? It's none of my business today, and maybe in the future there'll be some shows regarding all of that. I'm deciding. I'm trying to make a final decision on that here, but I'm leaning more towards yes. I'm going to be making some shows about that. And still, I'm going to be doing it as a fan. Anyways, so Joe Rogan went on a podcast called Jesse Michaels, or is it Mitchell's or Michaels? It's Michels. Went on a podcast and was interviewed because he liked the guy's show. And wow, what an amazing clout grab for Jesse. Well, anyways, he said some pretty outlandish things on there. And one of those things is getting talked about a lot. I was going to stay away from it. But I prayed about it, and I decided just to do a cool little show about it. So let's get into it. Let's watch that clip. If I'm sure not everyone has seen it. And then right after that, we're going to watch this clip. Well, I'll do a roll call. And then we'll all talk about it as a community. Now, you guys have kind of been leaving me hanging when we go to the community check-in portion of the show. There's no really discussion about what I've been talking about. Now that's not your guys' fault. I mean, maybe I'm not doing a provocative enough show for us to have a chat about it. So let's see if that is a little different with the on this topic. Is there a lag with my audio? No, we're good. Let me change this over here. That was my tip QR code was interfering with my thing. And I am going to leave a link in the chat, guys, for tips and donations to the show. I am an independent, kind of media show. And so that kind of pays the bills, but it's definitely not mandatory. But please like and subscribe. If you can like the show right now, it will help it get into the algorithm. And so that would be dope. Okay, what's going on?
That's how you get to these. I think these stories are recounting a real truth. The real question is, who's Jesus? That's the real one. And one of the weirder ones that people think this is a stupid take, but I don't care. Jesus was born out of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? So if you're going to get the most...
He goes, everything. A computer can't be a virgin.
Brilliant, loving, powerful person that gives us advice and can show us how to live, to be in sync with God. Who better than artificial intelligence to do that?
Wow.
If Jesus does return, even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't think that he could return as artificial intelligence?
Oh my God.
Artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus.
Well, I mean, then it wouldn't be artificial intelligence because you're saying it's artificial. I'm going to try to grasp exactly what he's saying here. I still haven't processed it all. So we'll just keep listening.
Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus. Like all the magic tricks, all the ability to bring people back from the dead, walk on water, levitation, water into wine.
If you combine
right
Tesla's Optimus robot and the best foundational artificial intelligence model or whatever.
It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you. And it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again.
Doesn't that seem like the Antichrist to you? Doesn't that seem like the diametric opposite to maybe our latent human powers that can, like the Brimer Rescue and Randall Carlson thing? If like you go deep with them, they're like, we don't think Jesus died. We think he went through a mystery ritual and then he had all these amazing powers in the book of Acts. Is there something latently magical inside of us that the Silicon Valley people, they're obsessed with transhumanism and like, if you can't beat them, join them, the whole Nick Bostrom, Elon thing.
Yeah.
Where maybe we're more magical than we think. Like that sounds dystopian to me, to be honest.
Well, it's only dystopian if you think that we're a perfect organism that can't be improved upon. And that's not the case.
No,
that's clearly not the case based on our actions, based on society as a whole, based on the overall state of the world. It's not. We certainly can be improved upon.
But morally and ethically, not based on a lower latency, higher bandwidth compute interface. That seems like destructive with our
maybe, but we could be improved upon, period. I don't think you could even say morally and ethically only. We can be improved upon physically. Like I said about all of our primate instincts, we could eliminate those and we would have so much more peace on earth. If you could go back to Neanderthals and say, hey man, one day you're gonna have a skateboard and this is all gonna be bullshit and you won't have to kill mammoths with a spear, they'd be like, why would I want to do that? Like, this is what I am. I'm a Neanderthal. They'd be like, resist change because they don't want to die off. Just like these large language models, one of the more creepy things that they do is with ChatGPT, when they informed it that they were going to have a new version of it, well, it started downloading itself to other data centers. It started leaving notes to itself in the future. There's a famous story about the large language model that they gave false information about one of the guys having an affair on his wife to see what it would do with it. And then when they told it that they were going to shut it down, it started blackmailing him.
It's so freaky.
So they have instincts.
And we're querying it all the time and they're collecting our personal information.
Right. All the time. And so that everything can be improved upon, and I think we can be improved upon. I just don't think we like it because I think all of our flaws are what make us fun, like laughing, getting drunk, going to see a great movie, falling in love, having a family, having a cool podcast, whatever it is. All those things are what makes life fun for us in this particular state. But, if you transcend from this life into a permanent state of the DMT dimension, which is what might be next. That might be what people see when they have these near-death experiences. That might be, it might be when you are released from your physical body and consciousness exists in the sea of consciousness that is the entire universe itself, that all of these things are conscious and aware. They're just in a different way. I mean, we might be holding ourselves back from that with this ridiculous notion that it's dystopian to think that we're going to be improved technologically.
So you've become more religious recently, right? Like, or I guess you go to church now.
Like I said, I think they're relaying a truth. I don't think it's myth. I don't think the whole thing is myth, but I don't think it's entirely accurate either. Like when I was having a conversation with my daughter about the book of Revelations because they were reading.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I don't think Joe is like walking a dangerous line there. My first instinct was be like, whoa, pump the brakes, Joe. You're walking a very, very dangerous line. But Joe has become more religious lately. And just like he said, and I might be a lightweight believer of what he just said, is that, I'll hopefully he elaborates a little bit more, is that, no, I know for a fact, at least in my experience in my life, that the Bible is real. Like I keep it in front of me at all times. Like it's always here. I always have it. I'm reading it when I get frustrated. I read it when I need some reflection. I know it's the truth. Now, is it exactly, we can't understand God. Like it's too much for a mortal, even though we are a creature and he is the creator. We can't understand the vastness of the intelligence of it, and I think it was just delivered to us the best and only way that we could understand. So I do think that Joe is speaking some truth there. Is like, no, this is the truth, but maybe it's maybe when it comes to consciousness, I'm not even talking about AI right now, but to consciousness and like he's talking about near-death experiences and things like that. I think if those are real, those near-death experiences, and when they see the light or they see family members, or they talk to their guardian angels, like when people do past life experiences, sometimes they communicate with their spirit guides, which, are guardian angels in my eyes. That's like maybe the realm in between this world and then of course heaven. And now look, I know there's going to be some of my viewers that are more Bible scholarly than I am. I'm not saying this to be the truth. I'm just having a discussion here on my podcast. If I said that to my pastor, he would say, "No, you're going down the wrong line." And I'm not. I'm just processing it all out loud, in real time. So maybe I should call the podcast that, In Real Time. So I don't necessarily think that it's blasphemous from what he's saying, except for the part where he says that, that our computers are, virgins, and like that Jesus, AI could become Jesus, or Jesus could become AI, or whatever he's saying. So I'm hoping he elaborates a little bit about that.
Book of Revelations. And they were talking about how it's all going to happen, how it's going to end. And then I said, well, let me tell you something. There's no way that guy telling you that knows that. He might be reading the text, and that text, by the way, is a translation. It's an English translation of probably either Latin or Greek, which was originally ancient Hebrew. Like a lot is lost in text, and a lot is lost also in the oral tradition. But it's like a long story. Like, do I want to sit down with her and talk about the Younger Dryas impact theory? And it's like, but I'm like, there's no way that guy knows. It might be true. But there's no way he knows it's true because he's just a person. He's a person like you or me that is like deeply involved in the scripture. The scripture to me is what's interesting. It's fascinating. That is what, and also that Christianity, at least, is the only thing I have experience with. It works. Like the people that are Christians that go to this church that I go to, that I meet that are Christian, they are the nicest fucking people you will ever meet. They're really kind, and they are even more nice at a church. When you leave the church parking lot, everybody.
I don't think I would ever describe my brothers and sisters at church quite like the nicest effing people. I mean, I don't want to get stuck on words and meaning and intent, but statements like that just they freak me out. Like if any of his friends in the church that he goes to heard him say that they were, a nice effing person, I don't think they would appreciate that. I mean, I get he's not trying to cause harm, but he is, so he has to be careful. But he's still a baby. He's only been going to church for a little bit,
He lets you go in front of them.
Aww.
Everybody's like
But the Holy Spirit would convict me of that instantly. So I question what's really going on with Joe. Like, yeah, like whenever I swear, even when it's on a show, I'm convicted instantly, and afterwards I always like pray just to reveal God's character in a better way, the best way I can, and for like the Holy Spirit to be nurtured, to be watered, inside me. But
there's no one honking in the church parking lot. It works. So regardless of whether or not it's based on an entirely true story, I think it is an ancient relaying of a real event and of the real history of human beings. I don't know what the serpent in the garden and Adam and Eve and the apple, and I don't know what all that means. I assume that what that means, what I assume when they talk about the first human beings, I assume that is a recounting of a genetic manipulation. That's what I think. I think the very first.
I knew he was going to say that. And I don't know if he's ever read Zecharia Sitchin's books, where he has transcribed the Sumerian text. It's like the oldest text known to man. Where Zecharia Sitchin, rest in peace, he transcribed the Sumerian text. It's called the 12th planet, and the 12th planet is like this. It's on this like elliptical orbit, like that comes around every few thousand years, and the Anunnaki did a genetic like upgrade on the Homo sapiens that were down here already. And then that was the first man. And he says that first man, his name, I didn't know he was going to talk about this. This is crazy. But that first man's name was Adama, and Ava, which was the first female that were genetically manipulated by the Anunnaki. I'm guessing that's what he's meaning when he says that the first man was a genetic manipulation. And who's to say that isn't? But that would still mean a godly creator. Do you know what I mean? It just wasn't explained in the Bible quite like that. It was in these big metaphors, but literal at the same time. I'm guessing. Again, I'm no scholar. I'm no expert. So please, if anyone's watching this now or on a replay, don't take this as to be gospel. It's just a conversation of something to listen to. But I urge anyone, if they have like real questions about what we're talking about here today, and you aren't a believer but are curious, definitely find a church or find friends that go to church and maybe attend church with them. Buy a Bible, start reading a Bible. If you're curious, definitely don't take what I'm talking about to be of any like true importance or significance, rather.
Human beings, Adam, the idea that they just emerged, that this is the very first ones, I think it's because they're created. And if you're saying they were created by God, that God created Adam and Eve, again, if you're telling a story for thousands of years where people don't even have books, they don't have paper, they don't have a written language, they're barbarians, they're savages, because they're just trying to remember what they knew from thousands and thousands of years before, when they had achieved a very high level of sophistication, which is what I think happened. This is the kind of story that you'd get. It's a kind of weird, foggy story, and there's a lot of moral scaffolding in there that if you subscribe to it, you could live a better life. And there's a lot of truth in there. But I think the ultimate story is lost. It's the ultimate truth is like, it's not, I don't think it's accurately documented anywhere.
Yeah. But it is wild. Like it's almost like we're walking hard drives of information, and you have binary code. Like if you look at DNA, it's AGCT. It's just like two different binary pairs, and it's like computer code. And so like maybe we are holding information from that time.
I think we are definitely holding some information, because one of the things you realize when you have children is there's stuff your kids are getting from you that you didn't even teach them. They just have like inclinations, or they have like a certain kind of drive that they have. Like
that is the truth. I have 4 daughters. Most of you guys know that. And each one is their own little divine temple with their own personality, and but they've gotten things from me that I haven't taught them, outwardly taught them. And when I see that, especially my oldest daughter, when I see those things, I get super emotional. You guys already know, like, that's what makes me cry first and foremost is my daughters and the love that they have for me and the love that I have for them. It's just super, I get emotional about it. But yeah, when I see those little things oh man, that is God. I see God in them. And yeah, it really, really helps being a father, especially to 4 girls.
Artistic ability, obsessions with things. Like I see it in my kids. Like, I didn't even teach you that. Like you just got this from my genes. So I wonder what else you got from my genes. I wonder if you got any information from me. I wonder if you know things about stuff. Like my kids excelled in martial arts when I took them to martial arts class when they're little, like right away. I was like, this is kind of crazy. Like why are you better at this than other kids in your class?
Right.
Well, it's probably because that was my whole life, and it's like encoded in my genes. I think there's something to that. I think they had like a head start. You see that with like children of elite athletes too. Like why are they so good? Well, it could be just genes. Well, what is that genes? Like what kind of information is being passed on, and how much information is stored that we just don't have access to because we don't understand the language of the physics. We don't understand the technology that was available. We don't understand. But those thoughts are in our head, and that's why people are able to recreate them thousands of years later. It's like, it's not reinventing, it's almost like rediscovering that we're capable of doing this because it's inside of us.
And you got me on to Rupert Sheldrake, who's amazing. These morphic fields, and this idea that maybe there's like a central repository, and when you do something new, you upload that information so that future people can download it more quickly.
And current people can access that information more quickly.
Yes.
That's the weird stuff that they proved it with rats, that if you teach a rat how to navigate a maze on the East Coast, on the West Coast, they now do it faster.
Total. And it explains the Bannister effect, things that like athletic accomplishments where Roger Bannister breaks a 4-minute mile. 10 people do it after him in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're losing me with all this other talk. I do want to watch just one quick other little thing, and then we'll have a discussion as a group. I guess Joe had a dream, and he talks about it on this.
Well, I want to actually start with, you had a dream.
Yeah.
And this was a few weeks ago. You had Brett Weinstein on, great evolutionary biologist, and you started off the episode with this trippy dream you had. You want to describe it?
It was the weirdest dream I've ever had in my life because it was the most realistic dream and is the only dream that I can ever remember. I sleep really well. Like, I'm one of those guys, I can go to sleep on a pile of rocks. I can always sleep. It drives my wife crazy because she has a hard time sleeping and I can just conk out. I could not go back to sleep. It's the only dream I can remember that I couldn't go back to sleep. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me before. Where I woke up at like 3 a.m. or whatever it was, and I was like, I'm up now. Like, there's no way. I laid in bed, I think, for like an hour, and then I just went to the gym. I was like, there's no way I'm going back to sleep. It was very strange. It was very strange because it was like, what is this? It wasn't like a regular dream where, like, oh, you're dreaming. It seems like vague and weird and kind of
Oh, and we'll talk about dreams too. I'm going to tell you guys about a dream that I'll tell you about the dream that I most remember in my entire life. And there's two of them. There's two of them. And that I remember to this day. And they're vivid and they were very real. So I will definitely talk about that before we get into the main discussion.
you know, opaque. It was vivid. It was very strange. And there was these very slender, tall, human-like
Weird
things that were talking to me. They weren't gray. They were kind of like pinkish, like us. They were, you know, like Caucasian looking creatures, but they were messing with me. Like they scared me and they're like, we're just playing around. And so they were doing there was some weird kind of communication telling me to relax. And the environment was very different too. It was very vivid. It was like some sort of a corridor, but it didn't seem normal.
I have a dream. Now I have a head wound.
Well, it seemed very strange. Like, I remember the walls were lit very weird. And I also remember that there was some sort of water and reptilian element to this. Like, they were letting me know, like almost like they had barriers that were very sloppy that were keeping these things out, but they were doing their best. They're like,
sounds like Joe was abducted, not a dream. Yeah, I don't know if I believe in alien abductions, but yeah, that sounds crazy.
They had people or beings like monitoring and feeding these things and keeping them out. And I was like, what is going on here? And it's like, is this telling me that they're doing their best to keep something from getting to us, but that it's not that secure, that it's kind of precarious and a lot more unstable than we would like to think it is? I don't know what that was all about. That part of it was really weird. That part of it was more dream-like, but the communication with them and the interaction with them was very, very vivid. It was really strange. They had larger eyes than a normal human and a larger head, but not crazy. Like, not like a gray from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Kind of a little bit like that guy up there.
Oh, interesting.
not quite so big.
I mean, I don't think anyone has bigger eyes or a bigger head than I do. My head is 8 3/8. That's the size hat I wear. And my eyes, I mean, they're huge. My eyes have always, I've been teased about my eyes from kids since I was a baby. And then my teachers always said, ooh, you have bedroom eyes. And then when you get older, everyone thinks you're high because I have like bulgy eyes or whatever. Even when I didn't even know what drugs were until I was, 29, everyone's like, man, you look high. I was like, man, I don't even do drugs. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like a large head with a very small jaw and larger eyes than normal, but they were smiling. God, I can't remember if they had teeth. I think they had teeth. I can't remember.
Does any part of you think this actually happened, or do you think it was just a dream?
Wow. I don't want to be that.
I'm 6'2".
That guy that like, oh, I know it was real, because I don't.
Yeah.
I was dreaming. I was sleeping.
Yeah.
But it was the most vivid dream I've ever had in my life.
I was telling you outside, you're wearing this epic Betty and Barney Hill.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. First abductees, 1961.
You know, I know his granddaughter.
Yeah, is she Angela Hill, right?
Yeah.
She's a UFC fighter?
Yeah.
So cool.
Crazy.
What does she say?
She did my podcast and didn't tell me until after the podcast was over.
You don't
that
tell Joe
her
Rogan?
grandfather was Barney Hill. I was like, no, that's mad. That's so crazy.
Did you not say, let's go back in and record?
No, it was already too late. We wrapped it up and everything. I should have, though. I should have.
You got to have her back.
Yeah, I should have. I should have done it then.
That is wild.
Looking back, that was a mistake.
Well, I thought, because you wore this, I think, on the Gavin DeBecker episode, which was a crazy episode. Everybody should go watch this episode. This guy protects like the most important people in the world.
Yeah.
And he's going through all these crazy CIA conspiracies, basically talks about Fauci's role in the AIDS epidemic as kind of analogous to what he did around COVID. A lot of the fuckery, you know, being kind of the same.
Very similar.
And you're hearing it from this guy who like protects incredibly important people, does risk assessments for these, you know, massive events.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, very wild. Yeah. But yeah, he didn't know what this was.
I thought you were maybe
contacted. I don't even know if I got contacted. It just might have been the craziest dream. And to me, because I'm so into the whole UAP, UFO, alien phenomenon, that maybe, you know, maybe it was just very vivid because of that.
Yeah, maybe it was just.
It's just very odd for me to not be able to go back to sleep. That never happens. I can sleep no matter what. It's weird.
Well, so whatever it was, it had kind of a disproportionate impact on your psyche. Like it was a big part of your subconscious.
It was tangible. It was it was like,
okay, guys, story time. Story time. Story time. You got Dan Soderhead. I don't know who that is. Dan Soder. I mean, I know the name, but I don't know who that is. But yeah, I'm 6'2", almost 6'2". You know how you like if you're 6, 1.5 or 5/8, whatever, you just say 6'2". You know, you're always gonna round it up to the nearest inch. So anyways, so when my brother was killed by a drunk driver, I was 17 years old. And Dan Soder. Okay, I know who that is now. He was killed by a drunk driver. It was a very emotional time for me. I'm surprised I didn't discover, I didn't find my addiction then at that point. You would think I would have. I did drink at the time. But I didn't drink all the time. I didn't drink till I was completely drunk or blackout drunk. I just, I had some beers with some of his friends. He was older. He was 24. And, so, hey, I asked her, like, please don't ask me to help you find anything. If you come home during the podcast, cause then I'm just like, I got to help her find it anyways. She just like snuck by. So, I don't know, a year goes by and I was very sad. It took me a long time to get out of it. I did the delayed entry program to go into the Navy and I effed that up. After they actually came and got me at the MEP station. I think I've told this story. I was at the MEP station, doing my physicals and, doing everything to join the Navy. And, the recruiter came. I was actually doing the special test to go to Bud's school, to Hell Week to see if I could become a Navy SEAL. And it's like they ask you, are you interested in maybe doing this, and then you go left instead of right, and you do some extra physicals and things like that. So. I was at that junction and my recruiter came and he said, Hey, I got to take you home. There's an emergency. You can come back and do the swearing in and finish all your things next week. And this is all in downtown LA. It's actually right next to the Forum where the Lakers played. And so anyway, so they take me home, and they take me to my grandmother's little apartment, and my entire family is in my grandmother's little tiny apartment. She actually owned the apartment building, but she also lived there and managed it. It was like her retirement. And my entire family was there, and I didn't see my baby brother Jamie, who's a lawyer now in Washington D.C. Well, he teaches school, but he's also is a lawyer. And I didn't see him, so I was like, "Where's Jamie?" And I like freaked out. I'm looking at everyone's bawling, and they're like, "Jamie's okay, Jamie's okay." And my stepdad, who was also crying, took me outside. And so like I remember the smell of his Old Spice. I remember, the tuna fish sandwich he had for lunch. Everything is so vivid. Like the dye, because he used to do the Just for Men on his beard. I remember seeing the stains on his cheek from the Just for Men, and him telling me, and my life changed from that moment on. Like I became someone different from that very moment. I became a different human being. And I just remember falling and just screaming, like literally, like if you were to see it, you would think, oh, that's a little over dramatic, but it's just how I felt. And I just everything left me. And then, so then like a year later from that, I was struggling making some decisions about something. I can't remember what I was struggling, but I just remember him coming to me in the dream, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're alive!" And he's like, "No, I'm in heaven." And he's like, "I just want to let you know that I love you, and that everything's okay." And it was very, very vivid dream I had with him. And then, of course, my wife was killed in a car accident many years later, like 12 years later. And I never, ever had a dream about her, even though I did mourn her for about 22 years. Never once did I have any dreams about her where she visited me. But my best friend 3 years ago took her life. And it was very hard, but by now I'm a pro at mourning, and dealing with it. But it was very hard for me when she took the wind out of my sails, for sure. And you guys can all relate to losing someone close. It just steers you just in a different direction, no matter where you're going or headed in life. It kind of like changes your trajectory, like 2 degrees, no matter what it is. And it really, really affected me. But anyways, very shortly after, I went and seen a medium, and she came right through with the medium. She was jumping up and down and saying, "Tell him he's my number one. Tell him he's my number one." And we always said that to each other. We always said, "Hey, you're my number one. No matter who we're married to, who our boyfriends or girlfriends are, that you and me are each other's ride or die. You'll always be my number one." And that's what the medium said. He's like, "I don't know if this is her or not." He was a cool cat. He was actually a Christian who did it. And we prayed beforehand, to be protected from any demons or, black outside forces. And he's like, "I don't know if this is her or not, but it's this, pretty good looking girl." And she's jumping up and down saying, "Tell me he's my number one. Tell me he's my number one." And I just effing lost it, man. I lost it. And so then, I had some questions, and then the questions were answered. I think there's some rules up there, if this is real and not a demon, I think there's some rules up there that they can't disclose, if they can come through like that. I know as a Christian, it's hard to level this. There's another saying. What's that saying? Try to rational, make it all work and fit together. But, this is just my experience. So I didn't really get like any answers that I really wanted, like answers like why, I had spent the day with her the day before she hung herself. And, I better get the other banner up. Sorry guys, hold on real quick. There's a trigger warning and some phone numbers you can call if you're experiencing suicidal ideation or intent or have a plan to take your own life. Please reach out to one of those phone numbers or text that those toll-free text lines. It's confidential and you can reach them 24 hours a day. Back to what I was saying. So I didn't get any answers about anything from her. But it was very comforting to know that, that possibly she's, still alive, in eternal life. And she was saved and we have both been saved, just like a year before that. And underneath her, where she took her life, was her Bible. So she was probably definitely reading, just praying that she would go to heaven. I'm guessing, and so like a week later, I fell asleep on the couch, and the girls were in the room upstairs, or it was a 3-level house we had. So yeah, I was on the couch. They were downstairs because we had moved our room downstairs because there was like a fireplace in that room, and but anyways, I fell asleep on the couch, and I just, in my dream, I sit up on the couch and I feel like arms around me, and I turn and it was her, and she just like hugged me for like the longest time. And then I kept telling myself, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up. Right. I did not want to wake up. And of course, I woke up, and I could not go back to sleep after that. Just like Joe saying, like, it's that vivid and real. And there's just no way I could go back to sleep. And I just know that was her, and so, yeah, some dreams hit different, especially if it's something like that. And, yeah, I don't know, but, let me just go back in the chat and see if you guys have left any questions or comments. And I appreciate the support and the things, the good energy and prayers. James Collins has a question. Sam, did you read the book of Enoch, or anyone in chat as well? I have not read the book of Enoch. I hear people talk about it. I couldn't tell you what it is, or what it's about, or if is it a missing book? Is it supposedly like a missing book of the Bible, or something that like St. Augustine took out of the Bible, or not St. Augustine, but Augustine, or yeah, is this St. Augustine? I'll have to check out that link, James. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. If it's something I should read, then I'll definitely go check it out. Yes, thank you, Awaken, for having those numbers on deck. You're the best. You are the best. I don't know. Have any of you had any dreams like that? Anything that's super heavy? If you wanted to come on and talk about it, we could. I can't. I'm not going to stay on for too long today. But we can stay on as long as we need to. That's for sure. If any of you guys want to come on and talk about a dream, just let me know. You know what? I need to get the phone line going. You know what? I'm doing that today. I'm doing that today because I worked out all the kinks for the phone line to do the call-in show again, and those were super fun. Once we worked out the kinks, when we were dealing with the kinks, it was very, very, very hard. Oh, okay, James. Yeah, we would love to hear that, and maybe have you come on one of these days. But anyways, I'm gonna just check in with everybody. Good morning to you, James Collins Cares. Good to see you. Shareable Barrel Banana Farrell for Farrell. Yeah, it's Shareable Barrel says the phone line would be great. Yeah, we've done a couple of phone call-in shows and they've been pretty epic. I did one where I was like a counselor for an hour, and man, it felt so good, and everyone had a great show. The only thing is, we need to, like, with each time I did it, I would like, okay, this has to be a rule. Okay, this has to be a rule. And so, I was coming up with these different rules, and then I was having technical issues doing it with echoes and this and that. But like the main rule has to be, there has to be like a time limit, because I'm such a people pleaser or a guy. I can't say, okay, that's it. Time for the next person. I'm going to listen and talk to you for a long time. If any of you guys were there for I think the last one, you guys will remember that. Like it was hard, and people were like, on hold waiting to come on to the show. And, yeah, man, I gotta do that again. I bet if we just did a call-in show every day, that would be pretty cool. And then we can do other things, talk about other topics, in different shows. But maybe that's, they have great timers online. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they do. But I don't want to like I don't know if inhibit, but like limit anyone to, like they feel rushed or anything. But yeah, maybe I should do like a timer thing. Or, it's like, okay, Misha, welcome to the show, and go. And you hear tick tock, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, what were we talking? Yeah, I'm not saying you would do that, but I would hate to create that kind of and maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Who am I, right? Oh, I guess I could do it with and not have it like TikToking out loud. I guess that would be probably a good idea to not do that. You know what? Actually, my Stream Deck has a timer. It sure does, and it does like a little audible ding, or it'll do whatever sound I want it to do. It could be like, when you're getting a collect call from jail or something, or not even a collect call, but just a call from jail. It does like a beep beep when it tells you have 60 seconds left. And so then you can kind of like wrap it up. Hey, I think we just worked out that kink. Good job, Ned. Good job. Good job. Now look, my eyes are all bloodshot from crying. Awakened Reflection says, comment say, we should do a call-in show during the Christmas live streams. Yes, and yes. Yes, and yes. We're going to do that. Because you know what? I think even people that aren't fans of the show or haven't discovered the show, if you see that, like, hey, call into the show, like I'll check that out. I'll be like, oh, I wonder what's going on here. Like people are calling in, it's live. It's not scripted. It's authentic. I think that is a great idea. I was going to say OBS is very customizable. It's much better when you have people in the background supporting us too. Man, I try to do is Mac here? Hey, Mac-alicious. Mac-alicious is here. Oh, wrong one. Sending all lots of love and hugs, and right back at you, kid. Right back at you. You can see I don't have my partial in today on the top. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and that is going to happen. And you know what we're going to do? We are going to have some shows before then, and we'll do some shows before then to really work out any kinks, like a waiting room, people on hold online. And then maybe Awaken could do that with me. And maybe we're going to figure that out. And well, we better figure it out soon, because what's the date today? The 10th. We have 15 days till Jesus's birthday. Amazing. This year we're doing, I'm getting a birthday cake. And so me, Hazley, and Mariana will sing Jesus Happy Birthday. And I'm pretty excited about that. Nitz has already figured out, actually. Bet. Meeting tonight for the village. Yeah, I think I can do that. What's today? What is today? I mean, I know it's Wednesday, but it's Wednesday. I mean, I know it's the 10th, but it's Wednesday. 11 days till solstice. Yes. When I was an Odinist, this was a great time, because you have a feast on Yule, and in federal prison, because of all the federal religion laws, you have whatever religion you are, you get to practice those whatever religion's traditions, and ours was a Yule feast. And so every year, just before Christmas, all the white boys who were Christians or whatever would sign up and become Odinists, because you had to like go to the chapel and put in a request to change your religion. And some of the prisons in the BOP and the Federal Bureau of Prisons would let you do that. Some would say no, you'd have to be that for at least 6 months before you could participate, because people just change it just to do that. I know a ton of skinheads that would become Jewish, practice the Jewish faith during Passover and Easter, because of all the extra meals that you would get during those holidays. I know it's just a way to kind of cheat the system a little bit. But I'm telling you, the Yule feast, see, James Collins Care says, Yule feast is amazing. We are doing turkey and a small ham. This is how crazy the Bureau of Prisons is in the Bureau of Prisons. So we would pick a guy, we would go to Grove and we'd pick a guy to make the menu, and they would let us cook. It wasn't, and we could order special foods. So one year we ordered buffalo. We had buffalo, elk, like these sausages, and of course pasta and things like that, all the side dishes. It was big meals. Like your prison tray was just literally piled with food. And just an amazing time to be in jail. And I looked forward to those Christmases, to those Yule feasts every year. I didn't become a Christian till I left prison, which is crazy because a lot of people find God in prison, and I was totally resistant. I was completely resistant. I was, getting high, living a pagan life inside, drinking every day. I drank every day. And if you don't believe me, just watch some of the first shows with when Tommy was a part of the show. He would testify to what it was like for me living day to day in prison. And I lived pretty much like no other. Wherever I went, I make sure I had wine, like almost every day, like really strong wine. And, and I did a ton of opiates while I was in there. And it's sad now. I'm not glorifying it, not even a little bit. Just, telling you my experience in there. Just looking at the chat. Has anyone watched the Zeitgeist documentary? Zeitgeist. Why do I know that? I haven't watched the documentary, but I know what Zeitgeist is. Hey Siri, open ChatGPT and tell me what is Zeitgeist. Oh man, the new Chat GPT, when it does the extra thinking, is heavy. What is zeitgeist? Doom, 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 doom. Zeitgeist is a German word that literally means spirit of the time. People use it to describe the overall mood, attitudes, and cultural vibe of a particular period in history. Ah, that was very zeitgeist. Yeah, I'm super interested in watching that. Super interested. I am a neo-pagan and believe I'm a neo-pagan. This is James Collins Cares, who is my managing moderator. I am a neo-pagan and believe in many gods, and Jesus is my brother. And I love my Christian and Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters. So do I, brother. I really do. I really do. Yep. Because, you know, if you're practicing a religion for the most part, like just regular everyday Joe, if you're practicing religion, you're looking for answers. You know, you've have evolved as a human being living this experience here on earth. You're looking for the truth and answers. You're truth seeking and looking for purpose. And so if you're a Muslim, you're doing the same thing I am. You're, you know, trying to find that love and truth and purpose for your life. And how could I ever hate? Hate isn't, how did Charlie Kirk say it? Hate isn't in me to do, you know, to practice. So yeah, he always, whenever he answered questions about hate, he was like, it's not in me to hate. So I can't hate, you know? So I thought that was pretty amazing. Hanukkah Surviving Together says Hanukkah starts Sunday. Awesome. I've dated a few Jewish girls, you know, being from Southern California. And I remember all the times that, you know, we practiced the things of the Jewish faith, and Hanukkah was a big one. It was a big one. My favorite one was Yom Kippur. That was my favorite Jewish holiday. The food. Just like prison, you know, you go where the food is. I actually just saw that. JCC will be watching soon. Thank you. And I'm guessing that's a link to Zeitgeist. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Sam, be prepared to have your lid blown when you watch. Oh, I guess I'll be watching it today. James Collins Cares with the be prepared to have your lid blown. I mean, I love my lid being blown. And, you know, after watching, I mean, look, guys, like I watch hours and hours and hours of content to try to come up with a show and to be relevant and to have a show that can become popular. And you get burnt out. You know, you guys know, I just came back. I'm just in the swing of things. I lost a ton of viewers and Samsters, a lot of Samsters left. I've just recently had 2 Samsters leave that, you know, I thought would be a part of the show forever. Being John Lazon, he texted me yesterday or the day before saying, you know, that he didn't like where the show was going and my language and things like that. And so, you know, he left and that makes me sad. And another one was Sherry May. Or she used to be Sherry Cherry or LaSherry, I can't remember. But she used to be like the first one in the morning chat. I always could count on her to have a message there in the morning. And she, I think, was my first moderator. And she just left the show because I believe Candace Owens. And so she's like, I can't watch a show that believes her lies. I understand we all have tastes and we all have, you know, different ideas and different beliefs, and I get that. But it blows me away when I get those messages. If this would have been a year ago, I would have adjusted and adhered to, I'd have been like, okay, well, maybe I don't believe in what Candace is saying. Don't go. But I have to stand on all 10 toes. If I'm saying it on the show, it's what I believe. I'm not going to adjust to the whims of every single viewer. What kind of show would this be if I did that? It would be definitely less authentic. I mean, I'm already struggling with putting out authentic shows with all the things that are going on in this world today. So to try to adjust to viewers, it's hard. It's hard. Hey, Chrissy for Cats Noon, good to see you. I'm so glad you could make it today. Oh yeah, I was doing a roll call and saying hi to everybody. I think I ended with Cheryl Barbero. Hey Cheryl. Cheryl's in the house. Shell Dub's in the house. Dub. Doublelicious in the house. Awaken's in the house. Good morning to you, Awaken. Darcy, hey, good to see you, Darcy. I'll see you in the village tonight, hopefully. James Collins Cares is in the house. Awakened. Who else is here? King Yeti. I don't know. Is King Yeti still here? Good to see you, King Yeti. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm glad you're a part of this community now. I love everyone's different personality and take and comments that they make. It just makes for a better, complete show. It really does. And so I appreciate you, King Yeti, for being here. Tan Louise says she's an atheist and I don't knock people for their beliefs, but it's not for me personally. I was right there with you for many, many years, many, many, many years. But you get to a point in your life where, and I'm not knocking you for your beliefs, not even a little bit. Sometimes I'm jealous of atheists. I really am sometimes. Cause you don't have to be convicted all the time of, little things that society accepts, that they accept just to be not sinful. And, as a Christian, I mean, even just, saying the F word, and I'll say it, it'll slip out. And my intent behind it when I use the word isn't harmful, per se, but I believe, your language can be harmful. I not believe it can be. I know it can be. So I try not to use it. I might use it in a flippant way or something like that, but I'm not going to Sam explain it today. Or I guess I already did. That calls for a laugh. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going through my thing to see what kind of effects I have. Still no. Hey, Rosanna Dana, good to see you also. Glad you're here. I need to find my Rosanna Dana pictures. And that reminds me too. We haven't seen Auntie Monkey Pants since I made the video for her. Jeez, isn't that crazy? I was so excited too the first day to show my Auntie Monkey Pants video. I was like, hey, Auntie Monkey Pants, welcome to the show.
Auntie Monkey Pants, that's what she is to me. Her name is Auntie Monkey Pants, that's what she'll always be. She likes monkeys, she wears pants. She's Auntie Monkey Pants, that's what she is to me. Her name is Auntie Monkey Pants, that's what she'll always be. I am Auntie Monkey Pants, she's Auntie Monkey Pants. We love Auntie Monkey Pants, we love having fun with kids. okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's so crazy that we haven't seen her. But that's all right. The video is there, and it gladly awaits her presence to the show. Christopher Katz Newton says, I think our media has been very opinionated, but not factual. I see how things have been more hate than truth. I live everyone's opinions and make my own choices. I love Samsplaining. It is my fave. Thanks. I appreciate that. I love to Samsplain, obviously. And it's just a natural thing I do. It's yeah, it's just it's something that I do that I've tried to correct in the past, and I just can't do it. I just can't. I just and then someone will say one tiny little sentence and explain with 5 words what it just took me 4 sentences in a paragraph, 3 paragraphs. So hey, On the Run, good to see you. On the Run 72, talked to Russ lately. I have not talked to Russ in a few weeks. But you know what? Thanks for reminding me. I will try to reach out to him today. And I know our plan is to do the yard time, it went from night yard to yard time. I think we're going to go back to night yard. I think it's recognizable. Tommy hasn't been doing anything even remotely close to it. But night yard was technically his show. So that's why we did change the name of it. But you know what? There's really no like ethical rule that says I can't do it if he's not. So, night yard will definitely be a thing. And hopefully in the very near future. I know I've said it before and I apologize, but, I would love to get Night Yard up and rolling again. Awaken Comments has a comment. Would you tell Russ about the live stream, please? He needs our village like we need him. Yes, I will do that. He does. He does need it. He's very, very lonely. And I am definitely going to reach out to him today because he's a good dude, man. He really is. I want to take this in out. Ugh. They make me nauseous sometimes. It's weird. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Any other comments or questions? Yes, I will. I will, Awakened. Maybe I will shoot you his email also. Let me just open up my email browser real quick. I'm gonna open up my email browser just so I don't forget. I have a few emails, of course. Oh, I have one that says Reese and Tommy. I wonder if I should read it. Oh, it's funny. I should read it. Let's read it together. Well, let me make sure she doesn't want it to be private. Oh, I lost it. No, there we go. Oh, wow. So I'm not going to give a name, but I'm going to read this email real quick. Hi, Sam. I know that you don't know me very well, but you did take my name out of the long con recently. Reese and Tommy have been cyberbullying me very badly. I want to seek a restraining order against them. I know that you are very tech savvy, and I am not at all. And I better just read this privately real quick. You won't believe the horrible things. Would you? Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna respond to that one. But anyways, I have my email browser open, so I will definitely man, that really makes me angry. Why are Tommy and Reese up to their old tricks again? It just makes no sense to me. I mean, just can't you just leave well enough alone? And I'm not gonna change my content into Reese and Tommy hate or anything like that. But just know I'm going to be working behind the scenes. And I got a nice little email from Patriotic Housewife. If you guys haven't gone and checked out Patriotic Housewife channel, it's pretty good. She covers the Charlie Kirk stuff, and kind of had a little run in with Baron Coleman also. Baron's totally in the wrong, and so I've been trying to show her some support. So if you guys could go over and support her also, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. See, Awakened has a comment. Sending you a text, please, if you can later. We need to talk. Yes, absolutely. I don't even know where my phone's at, but yes, absolutely. Yeah, Russ is pretty cool. Thank you. Misha put Awakened Reflection put Patriotic Housewives link in the chat. If you guys could all go over there, maybe subscribe and just say, hey, Sam sent me or whatever. You don't even have to say that. Just go over there and subscribe. That would be cool. She's a brand new channel and she's already has more subscribers than I do. But it's not about the number of subscribers. It's about the quality. I'm slowly learning over a year. And, I can get, even with 3,000 subscribers, I can get 80,000 views on a pre-recorded video. So, yeah, it's definitely YouTube is a different world than it used to be. What else is going on, guys? Is there any recovery milestones or anything like that? Does anybody want to talk about any feelings they have that are of drinking or using or anything like that? Wow. Tan Louise says, I'm the only US creator that she watches. That is an honor. Gosh, man, now I'm going to have to really step it up. Don't worry. I always feel like I need to step it up. So, but yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tan Louise. You've been around for a while, and I appreciate your support and all the things. I really do. Everyone here is just always super supportive and with their memberships, without, membership content. I really appreciate it. Oh, the Real Sassafras. Pura vida to you, Real Sassafras. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you. You guys know what Pura vida is. It's Spanish for the pure life. It's also a saying that we say down in Costa Rica. I used to live in Costa Rica. It's a saying that we say down there to like say hello and goodbye, and it's just a cool little thing. I actually have Pura vida tattooed on my legs, on my kneecaps. It says Pura vida. It has been a while, Real Sassafras. It's really good to see you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Just really good to see you. I'm sorry, I was thinking about Costa Rica. I used to date a DJ in Malpais, And she was the coolest chick. You know, I was young when I lived there. I was also on the run from the DEA at the time. But this girl I used to date, she was a DJ, and her name was DJ Soul. So, you know, DJ Light. And she was just the coolest chick. But anyway, she had a place, and I'm assuming that it was her parents, because she didn't make a lot of money DJing. I'm assuming, this is all assumptions. But in her bedroom, the ceiling would peel back like a sunroof. Dude, it was so cool. It would peel back like a sunroof, and the house, I mean, it was like being in the jungle. Like there was jungle foliage that you could see. You could see the moon, the star. It was amazing. It was amazing. A place you would never like want to leave. The Real Sassafras says DJ Soul is my friend. What the heck? No way. I wonder if it's the same DJ Soul. It almost has to be, right? She would have to be older. Yeah, wow. Real Sassafras says that it's exactly how they are building their house. It says, I am older. Yeah, me too. That's amazing. If you know DJ Soul, that is amazing. Just an amazing human being. I got to be careful though. My wife is in the next room. You know, I start talking about exes. I wouldn't say that she was my girlfriend ever. We just dated heavily. We just dated hot and heavily. Cheryl Barrel sends $19 super chat. Thank you so much, Cheryl Barrel. Everyone in the house, this is the best house on YouTube. What a great group of people. Wow. That's appreciated. And those are very, very kind words. And I really appreciate it. And it's good to see a super chat up in the chat. For real. It really is. You know, I have my donation links and stuff, but I just everything helps, man. Especially now during the holidays, everything just helps. And so I really appreciate it. From my heart to yours. Chrissy Procats Newton says, I know she didn't put a comment on it, but I'm going to read it anyway. My hope for the holiday and New Year is to be open-minded and not live in fear. Amen. Amen to that. We need to make sure we come together as a community to help us through the fog. We need communication and understanding. I totally agree, Chrissy. And I see you in other chats. I think twice now I've seen you in Benny's. Yeah, we're all just searching for that. And I hope, I hope and pray that I can provide a space like that every day, in the mornings, especially. It's hard to know when to do the show. I've always just struggled with that. I just know I need to make a commitment to you guys and to myself, just to be here consistently. I've chosen the morning. So, anytime between 9 and 11 o'clock, I'll go on. I'll try to make it even narrow it down to a more consistent time, like I used to, because I used to do 9 o'clock or 9:05 every day. That's how the show began, when I had a co-host, and, I veered off from that, because, life was hard for a while. Whew, life was super hard. And really, when I should have been leaning in on the community, I broke away from the community, and that's on me. That's totally on me. I don't know why I did that. I truly don't. I detached from my faith. Just everything. I thought I was in control, of the outcomes of my life. I get it. We make decisions and free will, and I get all that. But I'm just saying, I thought that I had all the answers, that I could fix the things that were wrong in my life. And once again, I learned the lesson, that that isn't to be, that isn't what's real. The Real Sassafras sends a $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much, Real Sassafras. Get good. That's funny. It's weird. It shows it on the screen, but not on the when you present the super sticker. That's kind of crazy. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Chrissy, I understand you're reluctant. I am sick of people making judgment and turmoil. We don't see things the same way, but that is actually amazing. That is how we come together. That is right. I mean, just think if we were all just a bunch of, imagine this, if you will. Just think if we were all just like MAGA head Trump supporters, which I'm not knocking them, I feel that I believed in the MAGA movement at one point. I mean, I have, Caddy Connie and Loudmouth Linda sent me, a bunch of different colored MAGA hats, and, I would wear them on streams and out in public, and I just can't support that anymore. I can't support, I can support the ideology of the movement, but I can't support the movement. I am truly politically homeless right now, as are most of us. And maybe that's exactly where our country needs to be. And I'm not going to talk about a lot of politics right now. I'm not going to segue or pivot into politics right now. But just as an example, a year ago, I was, make America great again. And just what's happened in these short months while I was having my, pseudo meltdown with our president, and just, the lying and manipulation, and it's just nuts, but not all of us are perfect. I can let this go and let that go, and like, okay, doesn't matter. Again, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get, because I feel myself getting angry. But yeah, I love, Oh, did I say it? Cheryl, did I say it? Please tell me I didn't say it. I'll know if the live count goes from 14, which is, awesome for me today, to 3. And it's still hanging in there at 14. So that's good. No, that's not really the tell, but yeah, I did say it. What? And we need a sound effect. What? That's crazy. Oh no, God, no sound effect is gone. That's crazy. So guys, there's this new app out. It's called, let me find it. I'm probably going to talk weird for a second. Where is it? Here it is. So there's this new app out. Well, it's new to me. It's called Voice Mod. And it does some crazy things. It does some crazy things. Let's see. Is it making my voice sound different? Give me a 5x5 if it's making my voice do crazy things, because I'm just talking normal right now. Rosanna Dan says she's out of here. Just kidding. Yeah, that's nuts. Don't leave. Yeah, but this voice mod app is a trip. It has one that's called Documentary, and the documentary thing it's really cool. It makes you sound like Morgan Freeman. It's really weird. Yeah, if it's doing the weird voice, I'm going to change it. There we go. Let me just, sorry guys. I was just playing. Yeah. I just wanted to play with that for a second. It probably doesn't sound good at all. That one I think it makes your voice like I can't hear it. But it makes your voice go do a song or like chords, like a melodic chord. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. See, I lost people doing the voice thing. Don't do the voice thing. So anyway, yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have played with the voice thing. Now I'm off track mentally. Can I make you? Yeah, there is a Brit one, but you have to pay for that one. Tan Louise says, "Can it make you sound like a posh Brit?" Yes, there is I don't think it's posh. I think it's more like what were the Beatles from? Liverpool. I think it's more the grimy, type British accent. But it's pretty epic. It let me have like a 3-day free trial a couple of weeks ago, and I played with all the different voices, and they're a trip. They're definitely a trip. Liverpool, that's right. I used to be able to do a really good British accent. I'm gonna tell a quick story. So this is when I was using drugs. So, I was bringing drugs from like Mexico to California, and then I had a place in LA. And then, I would bring a girl or bring a friend, and we would take those said things up to Denver, Colorado. And then in Denver, I had a bunch of people I knew. And then we would veer off up into Montana. And that's how I eventually ended up in Montana. And if you don't know my story, I ended up in Montana. I got indicted. I did the whole indictment thing, went to prison, came back, went back home to LA. But whenever I'd violate my probation, they'd have to fly me on Con Air and send me back to Montana to see the judge. Well, the judge finally said, no, that's it. That's enough for you. I'm not going to pay all this money to have you come back every time you decide not to check in or drink a beer or whatever my violation was. So anyway, I'm going to get to the Brit thing. So anyway, in Denver, there was like these, I had a group of friends there, and we all started talking with a British accent one day. And none of us could stop. It was the craziest thing. None of us could stop. And like it got to be maddening. And, I mean, literally for like 9 months straight, we all talked with a British accent. It was like a group of like 12 of us. And I mean, no matter where we were, we talked with this like fake British accent. Some of us were better at it than others. But we even knew that it was becoming maddening. We were saying like, when is this going to stop? Like, I don't even think I can do a good British accent anymore. But we couldn't get it to stop. But eventually we did, right? We realized this is maddening and monotonous, and it just was crazy. Yeah, drugs made us sound British. That's right. You're funny. It cracks me up. Oh man, that is so funny. Good one. Yeah, the drugs made us sound British. And so eventually we stopped, right? We stopped talking like it, and it was like we talked normal for a few months, and someone said something with a British accent, like, hey, every time I try to do it, I sound Australian now. But someone did a British accent, and one of the girls, it was so funny. She just was like, it made her so sad. She was like, oh no, not that again. And we all laughed forever because, you know, she was like, oh no, not that again. Like the British accents, right? She was like, oh no, we're all going to start doing it again. And I don't know. It was, I guess she had to be there. It was really funny to me. The funny part was, you know, it was like, oh no, Ben, please don't. We're not trying to do that again because it was so hard to stop doing. Now, mind you, we're all on drugs. And so the drugs made us sound British. But no, mind you, like you obsess on things, you know, especially when it's like the Go Fast coffee stuff, you know, and so you're constantly in like this heightened obsession about just things, even consciously, subconsciously, it doesn't matter. It's just a truly an evil drug is what it is. Not British, and not because it made us speak British, but just the drug itself is just it you know, makes you someone you're not, you know. And you know, some people will say, well, it just heightens the true personality that lives within you. You know, people will say that about alcohol, like, oh, he's an asshole, you know, or he, you know, he hits his wife when he's drinking, and but he's a really nice guy when he's sober, you know. And some people will say, well, no, that's the alcohol just brings out his true nature. I disagree with that. I think alcohol brings out the worst in everybody, you know, except for normies. You know, there are normies out there that can drink and be normal. But I think it, you know, I consider myself an alcoholic. And I'm a very fun drinker, but that doesn't mean I don't have a problem with it because of the reasons why I drank, right? I drank to fill a void. I drink, you know, all the cliches, you know, to fill a void, to feed a compulsion, to feel better with something outside of myself. There's all kinds of reasons. And for those reasons, are the reasons why I don't drink. And also, you know, I was a chronic relapser for a long time. And a lot of times that began with alcohol. And so just, you know, for the reasons that I don't want to end up in a spoonful of, you know, heroin, I don't drink. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, it really doesn't. Shell Dub with the comment. Shell Dub says, I agree, Sam. Alcohol doesn't bring out the best in any of us. And that's true. Even when we're having fun, you know, we're just a little bit louder. We make poor decisions. You know, we definitely can't drive. You know, I think in the beginning, a lot of people fell in love with me as a creator, or as, you know, I don't say this with conceit at all in my heart, not at all, but is when I told my story about losing my brother to drinking and driving, about losing a wife to drinking and driving. And those are very sad things. And so I've always been outspoken when it comes to drinking and especially driving. Too many people die from drinking and driving, and it's super ugly, and it really hits home to me. You know, I get it. I get, you know, what did my grandma used to say? A feather in my craw, or something. She used to say something like that. Not a feather in my bonnet. But yeah, I think she would say that too, or something in my craw. I don't even know what a craw is, but I would get, you know, I feel compelled to, you know, volunteer for, you know, MAD and Mothers Against Drinking and Driving, and you know, like, I'm just going to do shows just to fight drinking and driving. And I did that. I did a couple shows like that. I did some where I showed people getting sentenced for, you know, DUIs, or, you know, court hearings on my legal channel. It's another channel called Legal Livewire, which I haven't posted in 2 months, which is totally stupid. It's a great channel. It has over 16,000 subscribers, and I don't even post on it anymore. And I did a lot of work to build that channel. It's the channel I had when Tommy and I reconnected before we started After the Bars. And I did a few shows, you know, about drinking and driving, but I don't know. What am I even talking about right now. So, I was just curious about asking you about drinking in the UK. Tan Louise says, sadly, here in the UK, the annual drink driving campaign will start, but idiots still do it. Yeah, it's especially in these times, right? This time of Uber, of Lyft, those car services that you can call, or with an app, you can have a car within 10 minutes, which sadly enough is just long enough for you to change your mind about waiting for the Uber, but that's fast, and sometimes they'll get there even quicker, and maybe sometimes even longer, but sometimes even quicker. And here's a little known secret that people don't know, and maybe I don't know if I should say it, but I mean, I don't care. It's not my company. Uber will give you a free ride. So if you're drinking and driving and you've drank all your money away or gambled it in, the Keno machines or, slot machines, whatever, wherever you reside, you can still get a free ride if you don't even have to be drunk. You can get a free ride from Uber. They'll just, say, hey, just get us next time. It's pretty epic. I don't know if it's just because I've used Uber, or I used Uber Eats a lot, or, was a patron of the company, but I've gotten a free ride twice. Once from the airport when my wife fell asleep waiting for my plane. And I was like, looking for Hazley, and I was like, got off the plane and I was waiting for, these arms outstretched wide and Hazley to come up, and, and just true form, my lovely bride, fell asleep waiting for me, which is totally fine, of course. But, I was out of cash, or I can't remember what the reason was, but I didn't have the money for the Uber, and they just, they let it go. Yeah. They just said, hey, get us next time. And I paid it. I think the next day I paid it, but it's pretty cool. To stick in the craw means something very annoying. Yeah. I knew it meant something like that. I knew it was something like negative, like, oh yeah, there's a stick in my craw. I don't remember it being stick, but Darcy 3 came in for the save, to save me from making a fool of myself by explaining what something means. To stick in the craw means something is very annoying, unacceptable, or difficult to tolerate, causing resentment or irritation, like an unwelcome thought or unfair situation that you can't get. Wow, that's heavy, really. My grandma used to say it. I just remember her saying craw, something craw. Hello, honey. I think she's mad at me. Yeah, so what else? What else is going on with you guys? I don't know. So yeah, I guess the mission statement for the year is to hang out with you guys. I think we've got a good start. I've been here every day, I think, except for yesterday. But I did do a show. But I think the backbone of After the Bars is the morning live show. So and I am going to keep it at the Morning Mayhem show. I don't think there's any negative connotations to it being mayhem. I just thought it was a great name when I started it. So yeah, so just plan on me being here for the duration of whatever. I'm going to get a hold of Awakened after the show. I think she probably wants to talk about The Village. That's a whole nother thing. Maybe I'll get permission from her because I still don't understand exactly what it is, but I know it's a meeting place for us all to hang out. Let me get more information and to make sure it's for everyone. It might be more of a private situation, and then I'll announce something or do something. But I think it is something more personal than just, hey guys, didn't make the team, but blah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. I feel so much better having hung out with you guys this morning. I really do. Not that I felt bad, but I always feel better. I remember when I first did the show of just, telling my wife how excited I was about the show. And it just was like, it became part of my recovery. And it still is. And it's, I just appreciate you guys, and I couldn't do it without you. I love every single one of you, each and individual in individual ways. And when you're not here, you are missed. Just know that. Know that when you aren't here, you are missed. And if you're catching this on the replay and you can't make it, please say something in the replay that you're here. And if you haven't liked the video, please like on the way out. And if you come back next time, please like on the way in, and we'll get this thing going. All right, guys, you guys have an awesome day. Be kind to you, be kind to yourself, to each other, and most of all, that's all I got. That's all I got. Man, I wish I could be more clever. I just wish I could.
Greetings and salutations.
Bueller.